The challenge we were experiencing before working with Mark is that, first off, it was a little bit difficult to pinpoint what the problem was. We feel like we're good, but we're not great. We feel like we are a little bit fragmented.
I think was just a disjointed team. I think we had a lot of, and still have a lot of talented people on the team. I think we all like each other and get along, at least on the surface, but I think that there was a real lack of cohesion.
Felt like we were all kind of pulling apart from each other. Everybody was well-intentioned and working really hard, and we had good people. I guess it didn't feel like we were all rowing at the same pace, the same speed, the same direction.
I feel like we had the pieces of the puzzle there, but the picture wasn't put together.
I had been asking Alex, our team leader, for years, what's our Stanley Cup? In other words, like in hockey, everybody knows that's the goal that everyone is working towards. But I think we didn't have that kind of clarity as a team. We didn't know, like, what are we as a team working towards?
We were not trying to fight each other, but honestly kind of unintentionally causing a lot of conflict and friction because we were all trying to work, but without any clarity between team members.
I think a lack of cohesion and togetherness made me feel just out of place or isolated. Not having that clarity on where we're going just led to confusion.
Little confidence that we'd be able to really reach our maximum potential, whatever that is. And for me personally, as the owner, it's my responsibility to lead in such a way that allows these things to happen. Didn't feel like I had the tools to do that.
Didn't feel like we had a framework for how to even talk to each other about some of the things that were going on, and honestly, typically not very big issues. If you don't talk about it, those little issues can sometimes grow to a lot bigger than they actually are.
Probably the best summary of how I experienced what changed after working with Mark, I had shared that several weeks after we had not just gone through the workshop, but been supported by Mark in implementing some of the things that came out of that, was that I saw our logo on one of our branded pieces, and I just had a greater sense of pride in our brand. I had more clarity on what it means.
It felt like we had a path forward, and we had a framework for how to get to where we wanted.
I think he gave us a way to get clarity and maintain clarity and communicate it over and over again. And I really feel like that's been the biggest takeaway, is just it's getting clear on what are we about as a team. We answered the 6 questions, and those helped us get clear on who are we, what do we do, how are we going to succeed, and then what's most important now, and just having that framework for moving forward, I think has brought a lot of energy to all of us, myself included. Just feeling like, oh, okay, finally, we know what our Stanley Cup is. We know what we're all working towards.
Also helped us just to enjoy one another more and just know who each other are, understand each other, and then look for proactive ways to be helpful to each other as we're working together.
I've seen Alex change, I would say dramatically, just even over the last probably 4 to 6 weeks since we started working with Mark. I think his whole mindset, and I give him a lot of credit, as our team leader, I think it was probably most important for him to embrace this team transformation and this movement towards getting healthy as a team. I think he came to the whole process with an open mind and a humility, which we quickly learned is maybe one of the most important components for each member of the team, is to have a humble mindset towards the team. And I think Alex started with that, and I've seen him already grow in that. I've seen him not be afraid to call people out or even call himself out and admit mistakes and, sort of rally the troops, but again, in a way that feels like it's constructive and feels like there's care behind it.
The thing that's maybe most exciting is the team is really energized. Everybody's bought in, and to see people interacting with each other and almost like finishing each other's sentences in a positive way as we're screaming at the board the answers, because we're all really excited about what's going up there because we're figuring it out together. We're having fun actually doing our jobs together.
There's definitely been significant change in how we interact with each other and what we're all focused on and committed to. I mean, the fact that we can, week by week, feel like we're actually committed as a team to something, and everybody knows what that is, that's progress.
We've been able to engage in conflict, or what Mark calls passionate debate, but also maintaining our agreed upon rules of engagement. And so being able to have what I would call healthy conflict and be able to disagree with each other, but in a way that's like productive and constructive and has actually led to a lot more of that clarity.
To someone who's on the fence about working with Mark, I would say, had we tried to do this on our own, we'd probably be more frustrated today than we were when we first had kind of an exploration conversation with Mark.
If you're on the fence, it's a question of how important is it to you to be more cohesive as a team, begin to, really communicate with clarity what's most important to the team right now, and having everybody on the same page.
I think there's a cost to anything that's worthwhile doing. There's always a cost, but I think there's a cost to not doing what Mark has to offer. I think there's a cost to staying stuck in the mud.
We knew there was a problem, but without Mark, I think the problem would have gotten worse, and we would have continued to push into frustration because honestly, some of our behaviors and habits were not healthy. So we weren't even able to start fixing things because we didn't have the right foundations for how to make progress.
Literally, myself and Alex and other members of our leadership team, we just are like giddy, even weeks after meeting with Mark at the realization of what he's given us and what that's going to allow us to accomplish. I think it's just taken the ceiling off of our potential as a team. What I would say is just jump in and do it, and you won't regret it, and it'll be, it'll pay huge dividends.
I also wonder what would have been possible if we had gotten this kind of clarity 5 years ago or even a year ago, where we would be at today. And so in that sense, I'm really excited about what the next year and beyond looks like now that we have unity and we're all headed the same direction. The future is really exciting.
This whole process with Mark is not easy. Felt like a week or two into the process, I remember thinking, oh no, what have I done? This is actually really hard. This is going to force me and everyone on the team to change, to grow. And so it's not easy. I would liken it to hiring a personal trainer. The personal trainer is going to make you do some exercises that are painful, that probably don't feel good, and you're going to realize, oh, my muscles were atrophied in some ways I didn't even realize. I think going through this transformational process is like that. And I think Mark warned us fairly. He said it's probably going to feel messy. Things are going to be messy around here for a while. It's probably we're gonna have to slow down in order to speed up. So I think just recognizing that on the front end and understanding that it's gonna take some rolling up your sleeves and getting dirty, but it's gonna be worth it.
If you know you need help, go get it, because you're not gonna help yourself by waiting.